Ever feel like being the nice guy is getting you nowhere? Your team misses deadlines? Your kids don't listen? Your boundaries get crossed daily? You're told to be empathetic, to be collaborative, to be liked. What if that's all wrong? 500 years ago, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli dropped a truth bomb that polite society has been trying to ignore ever since. It is better to be feared than loved. This isn't a history lesson. This is a manual. This is about why being respected, truly respected, beats being liked every single time. In your boardroom, in your home, and in your life. Forget ancient princes. Let's talk about your power, your influence, your control. Let's talk about why fear, not terror but fear, is the key to making things actually work. The core principle, the unbreakable rule. Let's get this straight right now. We are not talking about ruling through intimidation. That's a cartoon villain. That's fragile. Machiavelli was talking about something far more powerful and subtle. The certainty of consequence. Love is a feeling. It's volatile. It's conditional. It disappears the second you have to enforce a rule. In a family, your child loves you when you're the fun parent who lets them skip homework for TV. That love turns to resentment the nanosecond you have to be the bad guy and enforce a bedtime. In a classroom, students might love the substitute teacher who lets them talk all period. But that love translates directly into chaos and zero learning. The second a real teacher returns with expectations, that fake love vanishes. In the workplace, your team loves the manager who never gives critical feedback. But that love is what allows mediocre work to slide, fester, and eventually blow up a project. In business, customers might love a brand that has a cute mascot and funny ads. But if that company's product is unreliable and their refund policy is a nightmare, that love is worthless. They'll abandon it in a heartbeat for a boring, reliable competitor that they trust. See the pattern? Love is a fickle currency. Now, fear, not the emotion, the calculation. It's the cold, hard understanding of what happens next. This kind of fear is not emotional, it is structural. It creates a stable environment where the rules are clear, and the penalties for breaking them are known and unavoidable. Love is a shaky foundation. The certainty of consequence is a rock-solid one. One creates chaos, the other creates order. Which world would you rather build? Paragraph 2, the modern battlefield, your career. Let's take it to the office. Meet two managers. First, nice guy Nick. He wants to be everyone's friend. He's loose with deadlines. He laughs off mistakes. He avoids conflict. His team adores him. Until a high-stakes project crashes into the department. Now, Nick has to enforce rules. He has to give critical feedback. Suddenly his team is shocked, betrayed. Nick's being a jerk. Morale tanks. The project fails. Nick's authority was an illusion built on a foundation of people-pleasing. Now meet respected Rachel. Rachel isn't your friend, she's your leader. Her rules are crystal clear from day one. She rewards excellence publicly and addresses failure privately, but immediately. There is no mystery. Her team doesn't wonder what will happen if they mess up. They know. They know the consequence is firm, fair, and unavoidable. Do they invite her to their birthday parties? Probably not. But do they trust her consistency? Absolutely. Do they deliver their best work because they respect the structure she provides? Without a doubt. In a results-driven world, respect built on predictable outcomes will annihilate leadership built on a desperate need for affection. Every single time, the ultimate test, power dynamics at home. And this is where the concept gets real. Think this doesn't apply to your family? Think again. The parent who needs to be loved is the parent who negotiates with a tiny terrorist in the cereal aisle. They beg, they plead. Please don't cry. Okay, you can have the candy, just stop. They are ruled by the fear of their child's negative emotions. Their authority is a joke, and the child lives in a chaotic world where the rules change based on their whim. Now the Machiavellian parent, their love is never in question. It's a constant. It's the warmth. It's the certainty of consequence. The rules are the rules, not because mum is mad, but because in this house we speak respectfully. The consequence for hitting isn't a timeout born of anger. It's a calm, immediate loss of playtime. The child might be momentarily upset, but deep down they feel secure. They are not ruled by chaos, they are guided by structure. They don't fear their parents' rage, they understand their parents' principles, they aren't learning how to manipulate, they are learning how the world works. Actions have predictable, consistent outcomes. That is a far greater gift than blind, permissive affection. The modern Machiavelli, how he would thrive today. So, if Machiavelli were reborn today, who would he be? We imagine a cutthroat CEO, but his genius would arguably shine even brighter somewhere else, at the head of a modern family. The modern Machiavelli wouldn't see his home as a dictatorship, but as his most vital principality. His goal? Not blind obedience, but a stable, functional and resilient state. A family unit that thrives on clear governance, not chaotic emotion. He would be the architect of the household constitution, the unchanging rules. Screen time isn't limited because Dad had a bad day, it's limited because the household laws decree it. The consequence for breaking a rule isn't a screaming match, it's the calm, immediate and inevitable application of a pre-established penalty. The Wi-Fi password changes. The car keys are handed over a day later. There is no anger, only cause and effect. His power wouldn't come from being the loudest, but from being the most consistent. He would master the art of strategic negotiation. He wouldn't engage in endless debates with a teenager. Instead, he'd set the terms. You want a later curfew? Present your case, show me your grades are maintained, your responsibilities are handled, and I will consider it. He turns emotional pleas into rational discourse, teaching his children that power and privilege are earned through demonstrated responsibility, not through whining or guilt-tripping. In a world of parenting advice that often prioritizes being a child's friend, the modern Machiavelli would succeed by being something far more valuable, a predictable, reliable and respected leader. He would build a family that isn't held together by fragile emotional threads, but by the strong, resilient framework of mutual respect. Machiavelli's most crucial warning was this: a leader must avoid being hated above all else. Hatred is what inspires rebellion, mutiny, and outright sabotage. This is the line that separates a strategist from a tyrant. Cruelty, humiliation, and unfairness breed hatred, while consistency, fairness, and respect, even when enforcing tough consequences, do not. Consider the parent who rules through sarcasm and public shaming. A child who is constantly belittled for poor grades will eventually hide their report card, lie about assignments, and internalize resentment that erodes the entire parent-child relationship. Similarly, a teacher who mocks a struggling student in front of the class doesn't command respect. They ignite silent rebellion, cheating, classroom disruptions, and collective disdain that undermines their authority. In the workplace, a manager who publicly humiliates an employee for a mistake is hated, and that employee will inevitably poison team morale and seek ways to undermine them. Conversely, a manager who calmly enforces a known consequence, such as postponing a launch due to subpar work and assigning ownership of the revised timeline, is feared for their professional standards, not hated for personal cruelty. In business, a company that uses constant threats of layoffs to spur productivity fosters a culture of anxiety and betrayal, prompting top talent to flee at the first opportunity. True power lies in enforcing consequences without malice, ensuring fear stems from accountability, not animosity. The final piece of the puzzle is perhaps the most counterintuitive. Machiavelli argued that the strategic, occasional use of mercy, when it serves your purpose, can actually strengthen your power. Why? Because it proves your consequences aren't driven by mindless rage, but by calculated choice. Let's make this relatable. Imagine a student who plagiarizes a paper. The known, feared consequence is an automatic 0 and a trip to the principal's office. But the teacher, known for her unwavering standards, discovers this is the A student's first offense, and they are genuinely panicked and remorseful. She enforces the 0, the consequence is real, but then offers controlled mercy. The grade stands because the rule is the rule, but I will not report this. You will rewrite the paper correctly for my feedback only. This is your one reset. The student isn't just relieved, they are fiercely loyal. The teacher's authority is magnified because she demonstrated both power and judgment. Now, apply this to work. A trusted employee accidentally sends a costly wrong email to the entire client list. The feared protocol is a formal written warning. Instead, their manager, who is consistently strict, says this: "This is a serious error. The consequence is that you will personally call every affected client to fix it. However, because your record is flawless and you immediately owned this, I'm keeping it off your permanent file." The employee isn't just grateful. They are now more committed than ever. Even in parenting, this works. Your teenager breaks their curfew by 2 hours. The standard punishment is being grounded for the weekend, but they call instead of texting, explain their phone died, and they got a flat tire, and they sound genuinely shaken. You enforce a consequence. You're still grounded Saturday for the lapse in planning, but then show mercy. But because you handled the crisis responsibly, Sunday is yours. And here's a portable charger. The lesson is learned not through resentment, but through respect for your fairness. This is controlled mercy. It's not about being soft, it's about being smart. It proves the rules aren't about your ego, but about principles. And that is how you turn fear into unwavering loyalty. The goal isn't to be a monster, the goal is to be a force of nature, to be so clear in your principles, so consistent in your actions that people know exactly what to expect from you. Love is a bonus. It's the sunshine. But respect is the foundation. It's the concrete and steel that holds everything up. You can build a life on a foundation of concrete and enjoy the sunshine when it comes. But you cannot build a life on sunshine and hope it never rains. Stop managing for popularity. Start leading with consequence. Stop parenting for friendship. Start guiding with principle. Stop asking to be loved. Start commanding respect. If this made sense to you, you're in the right place. Subscribe and hit the bell for more. This channel is all about real-world power, how to get it and how to use it. Next video, we'll tackle another tough idea from Machiavelli: when to break a promise.